And now a political question that might be a little touchy, but we have Alderman Sophia King, who is looking like she wants to run, may announce later this week, and perhaps Chuy Garcia, and maybe the governor would like to weigh in, since there are reports that the governor is interested in supporting him. What are you thinking about all of that?
Not much. What do the residents of this city want me to do? They want me to do my job. They want me to focus on public safety. They want me to make sure that we are continuing to deliver on an equitable and inclusive recovery from the pandemic. That's what I'm focused on every day.
What? What in the hell is an inclusive and equitable recovery from the pandemic even mean? What does that even mean? Yeah. Like, yes, it's good to focus on the people, to help them recover from the pandemic and from the city that, she locked down, that she put out a ton of mandates on, that she locked businesses up. She shut down schools. She chose to lock her city down. So it's important to always focus on recovery after you lock your own city down. What in the hell does equity and inclusivity have anything to do with that? I think that is the most fringe statement I might have heard all year, and this apparently is an old video. I have never heard an inclusive and equitable recovery.
All right, let's check in now with Anthony Ponce for the latest. Anthony.
Corey, that is absolutely right. Brandon Johnson has achieved just that with over 20% of the vote. A stunning defeat for Mayor Lightfoot, who got just over 16% of the vote. While the polls indicated this could be a possibility, still a lot of very, very disappointed and shocked supporters here at Carpenter's Hall in River North. Here is Mayor Lightfoot conceding this election just moments ago.
I feel a lot of love in this room, as I've felt every step of the way on this journey. I've called Brandon Johnson and Paul Vallis to congratulate them on their victories in advancing to the runoffs. We were fierce competitors in these last few months, but I will be rooting and praying for our next mayor to deliver for the people of the city for years to come.
You're class act, babe.
Thank you. 4 years ago, I looked into the camera and spoke directly to young people of color who look like me, and to every kid who felt like I did when I grew up. And I'm going to do that again tonight. I told you back then that anything is possible with hard work. And I want you to know that no matter what happens along the way, you should always believe that, because it's true. Believe that you can bring about change. Believe that you matter. And believe that you can love who you want to love and do what you want to do and be who you want to be. You will not be defined by how you fall. You will be defined by how hard you work and how much you do good for other people. Obviously, we didn't win the election.
I wasn't going to pause this at all, because, it was a fairly short video. But, look, there's just a ton of controversy around Lori Lightfoot. She's just, one of those highly politicized people. And unfortunately, most of the times that she was in the news, it wasn't It wasn't for good things. And now, like, I will agree with what she said at the very beginning, that if you work your ass off and you work as hard as you possibly can, good things will come to your life. Like, that's 100% right. But, like, then she goes straight into, like, identity politics, and, like, in my opinion, that's why she didn't not only didn't she win re-election, like, she finished at least third. Like, so she wasn't even, like, invited to the runoff to see who will be, mayor of Chicago. Like, she wasn't even invited to the party. Like, that's how unpopular. Like, this isn't like, oh man, it was a close race. Like, there was what, 6 different candidates, and her numbers were basically just as good as, like, the 2 people that no one's ever heard of. Like, that's bad. Like, that's awful for an incumbent, mayor. And she went right into it, talking to only people of color, then going right into, her identity as a queer woman. And, like, dude, like, that is great. Like, people can live however they want to live. Like, I could care less how anyone on this planet wants to live their life. But that stuff has nothing to do with running a city or being a mayor of a city. Like, that just, it has nothing to do with it. And I wish she would have took her own advice about, if you work your butt off, good things will come. The problem is that she didn't. While she was in office, she didn't. She focused on stuff like that, identity politics, basically, pleading to her base, which the way it seemed at the end, the only people that were part of her base were the people that were, openly robbing CVS's that she wasn't, willing to prosecute and lock up in her city. I mean, like, that place turned into an absolute mess. And, like, she was not a good leader, and she isn't a good leader. And yes, you're not always, like, even with what she said, like, you're not always judged with how you fall, but at the same time, if you fall for the reasons that you led, that is how you're judged. Like, unfortunately, that's exactly how you're judged. You fell because you were a bad leader, and because you're a bad leader, that's the way people will judge you.
Today, but I stand here with my head held high and a heart full of gratitude. I am grateful to the millions of Chicagoans who came together as we made tough decisions, saw the struggles of our frontline workers, and beat back a deadly pandemic. I'm grateful that we worked together to remove a record number of guns off our streets, reduced homicides, and started making real progress on public safety. I'm grateful that we were able to connect youth.
Did you just hear how nobody clapped? Like, once again, tone deaf. The worst crime rates, I think, in the city's history. And from what the research I did before I clicked on this, because I wanted to make sure I wasn't wrong, like, the murder numbers, they didn't go down. So if she's telling the truth about the other things and getting weapons off the street, like, good, I hope that's true. But so far, like, there wasn't a single person in her entire audience there that clapped for making things safe or
Making real progress on public safety. I'm
there was a
grateful that we were able to
not a
connect
single person
youth
clapped.
to mental health services, housing, education, job training, and legal services. I'm extraordinarily proud that we made investments in communities that have been neglected for decades with Invest Southwest.
Must have been a stakeholder in the back there. Got some
And putting
money out of that.
over $2.2 billion into communities in our neighborhoods. That commitment simply must continue.
It is, but people are afraid to walk the sidewalks, man. Like,
Mayor Lightfoot there
Tone deaf.
proceeding to
Just
Paul
tone
Vallis
deaf.
and Brandon Johnson. She won just over 16% of the vote tonight. She ended that speech by saying that she believes that when one door closes, another one opens, so we will have to see what is next.
Oh, good. Good Lord, I hope not. As long as it has nothing to do with running a city or being in charge of other people. I hope that's the case. I'm going to have to check and see if I can find this clip where she's threatening to lock up people in masks. Because I think that was like the toughest on crime she was for, you know, her entire 4 years in office. So we'll have to see if we can find that. But thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think.
This is how it's going to be. We will shut you down. We will cite you. And if we need to, we will arrest you and we will take you to jail. Period. There should be nothing unambiguous about that. Don't make us treat you like a criminal. But if you act like a criminal and you violate the law and you refuse to do what is necessary to save lives in the city in the middle of a pandemic, we will take you.
Look at this dude's mask that he's wearing, man. It even says "Stay Home" on it. It says
To
"Stay
jail,
Home."
period.